Hey guys, Dan here. We're having a look at Resistance 3. I've got John Paquette. John, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
Now tell us a little about, we've just seen the demo, tell us a little bit about why Capelli is the focus of Resistance 3, and from a narrative point of view, why he's the best continuation, other than the obvious for the spoiler guys out there, why he's the natural progression of the Resistance storyline.
Sure. Well, as you know, in Resistance 1 and 2, Nathan Hale was the main character, the player character. And at the end of Resistance 2, Nathan Hale was turning into a chimera. And the one man that could save him from that was Joseph Capelli. And at the end of the game, Joe Capelli made the choice to kill Nathan Hale. From there, it was a fairly obvious choice to follow Joseph Capelli and see kind of where he went as a character after the chimera kept growing, kept taking over the world. And so we start Resistance 3 4 years after that event. And in those ensuing 4 years, the Chimera have killed off about 90% of the human population. And the people that do survive are living underground, trying to hide from the Chimera. And so Joe Capelli in Resistance 2 was a character he was a sentinel, he was a soldier, he was big and beefy and brawny and angry, and he killed really good. So now, 4 years later, he has a family. He's kind of like an old gunslinger. He's kind of hanged up his gun, and now he just wants to survive. He wants to live in peace with his family underground, and he's doing that. He's eking out an existence, but he's not as big and beefy as he once was. He's not eating well. His son is sick. The people in this small town in Haven, Oklahoma, they're scared of the Chimera because these roving death squads come through town every once in a while. And so, when Dr. Malakov comes back into his life with an opportunity to perhaps save them and save his family, Joe then has to choose: do I leave my family and follow this crazy scientist guy to New York, or do I stay here and potentially watch my family die right in front of me?
From a writing standpoint, obviously Capelli was a fairly minor character in comparison to Hale. How different is that from a writing point of view in terms of having a new canvas to give to the Resistance universe? Well,
there's a couple things. I mean, you're right that Capelli was kind of a minor character in Resistance 2, although he did have a good connection with Hale. He was that guy who had always said, when you turn, I'm going to be the one to kill you. But I really kind of relish the idea of taking that character and turning it on its head. He was, like I said, this big, beefy, angry guy in Resistance 2. And to turn that guy into a family man was interesting, to me personally. And I think to a lot of us who are making the game. And to give him that motivation was a little bit risky, but I think in the end it feels like it really turned out to give him a clear motivation for why he needs to go on this really perilous journey. I enjoy doing that with characters, taking them in a direction that you might not think they would go.
Now, we've just seen a new demo for the game. Tell us a little bit about, we've seen a couple of new enemy types, a few new weapons. Give us a bit of a top overview of exactly what you're showing here today.
Sure. One of the things that you saw earlier today was the hybrid sniper, which is this sniper that cloaks and obviously hard to see, but they do have the laser that kind of shows where they are. And that's a new type of enemy for us. And then, as a weapon against a sniper, we have the Chimeran sniper rifle, the Deadeye, which is a really cool weapon that has both a primary and a secondary fire. The secondary fire is kind of like a press and hold, and you get a super shot that can obliterate any target that it gets. But it's a little hard to it's a little harder than a regular shot to pull off. Those are a couple of the top line things. Every weapon has a primary and a secondary fire, and one of the things that you saw in the demo was that we also wanted to open up the game design a little bit to give the player a lot more choice in how they wanted to take on these encounters. So
now, people are obviously eager to get their hands on this one. PlayStation 3 exclusive, but when can players expect to get their hands on it?
We are going to be on shelves September 6th.
John, thank you very much for joining me, and you can check out more on Resistance 3 on GameSpot.com.